Manchester United versus Leicester City then. Up next at Old Trafford. Massive, massive game for Manchester United again, as all the games are. But these are the type of games that Manchester United have, well, maybe not so much these ones, but a lot of the games at Old Trafford we've drawn, certainly in the last year or so. And this is another one that Manchester United could actually come unstuck in. It isn't an easy one on paper that you'd say that Manchester United would walk over like some of the draws we had last season, but still, Manchester United should be going into this game full of confidence and favourites to claim the 3 points. And that could become a banana skin for Manchester United. They're a lot better side than West Ham and Swansea for me. Certainly Swansea will be fighting relegation for me. And West Ham haven't looked so clever so far. So I think that the goal threat from Leicester City could cause Manchester United a lot of problems in this one. So far we've looked solid at the back. We haven't really been troubled too much in the previous 2 games in the league. Obviously letting 2 in the Super Cup against Real Madrid, but they're the top team in Europe. This certainly isn't playing against them, but it's against a decent attacking team. They've got some real players that could hurt Manchester United's defence, so we're going to have to be on our game, and I think we're going to have to up our game for this one if we are to get the 3 points. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than them other games. Hope I'm wrong. Hope Manchester United swat them aside, but I just can't see that happening in this game. And any sort of win, I would be really pleased with out of this type of game, because this could be the sort of game that Manchester United draw 1-1 or something like that, and it really hurts Manchester United's title charge this season, because these sort of games where you draw 1-1 at home really do start to tot up. If you have more than 2 or 3 at home, it really does start to drop too many points, and you're doing catch up. So these home games have got to be wins. Your home form has got to be almost perfect if you are to challenge for the title. Now, I wouldn't expect Jose Mourinho to make any real changes, not wholesale changes to the starting lineup, unless there is injuries. Now, we've heard the big news that Zlatan Ibrahimovic is now back for Manchester United. He has returned, signed a new contract. Obviously, he's been getting fit. He's been at the club anyway, but from recent weeks, we knew that he was going to sign the new 1-year contract. Before that, it was taught that he was being released and could go to MLS. But he has returned to Manchester United. He's got unfinished business here, he said. And obviously that means he wants to win the Premier League title. Potentially, maybe, does he still feel that he could win the Champions League? Who knows? Manchester United have got a real solid defence, which, if you want to win the Champions League, it's got to be a solid based on a good defence. If set up, and Manchester United are one of the best defensive teams certainly in the Premier League, so it's going to be hard to win at a Champions League for Zlatan, but you never know. Jose Mourinho has actually won it with, I think, 2 weaker sides than this Manchester United team, and at this moment in time Real Madrid are head and shoulders above everyone in Europe, so it could potentially happen. Real Madrid were to get a shock defeat over 2 legs, Manchester United could well be in it. There's a lot of teams in Europe that aren't the best at the moment. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Premier League, and this is what Zlatan really does want for his time in England. He's got unfinished business. Hopefully Manchester United can carry this run on for when Zlatan comes back. There's potentially talk of potentially maybe October or November time, which would be fantastic. We've got League Cup games coming up, Champions League back now. We've got some decent ties in them. So if Manchester United can win this game, give us a lot of confidence if we can get a decent run in this Premier League, win our first few games, and then go into them cup games not having to be under too much pressure, maybe rest a few players as well for them, so we can manage our squad a bit better. Now, as I say, I don't expect too many changes for the starting lineup. The only one I could possibly see is maybe Rashford maybe coming out and Martial coming into the starting lineup. So he has scored 2 goals in his first 2 games. Now, Martial's just got to be a bit more consistent with his game, which is pleasing to see that he's come off the bench twice and scored 2 goals. Could that potentially be because of tired legs? He's a very fast attacking player and has got bags and bags of potential. Does remain to be seen what he can do from the start for Jose Mourinho, as he hasn't started a game this season, but I could see him potentially starting. But apart from that, I would expect it to be the same starting lineup. Now, the only difference is Rashford, if he is given his chance, has got to be a lot more clinical. I think that Martial is the better finisher at Manchester United out the 2, but both of them are very inconsistent at times, and they've got so much potential. They've just got to be a bit more consistent, and they could both be fantastic players and potentially could be world-class players in the future. Who knows? We will have to wait and see. But that's the only change I could really see. Now, from Leicester City, Jamie Vardy is the main goal threat for them because Kelechi Iheanacho has been injured off and on at the start of this season, so I'm not too sure he's going to start the game. I think he did miss their previous game, so I don't think he wasn't even on the bench. He's got a foot injury or a toe injury or something like that. So hopefully he is only fit enough to be on the bench because at Manchester City he was a deadly goal scorer from when he actually played minutes. Now Pep Guardiola just didn't give him enough minutes, and I think that they're going to probably rue the fact that they've sold him. Obviously I don't care what he does at Leicester City as long as he doesn't do well and goes back to Manchester City. I couldn't care less, but I do think they could certainly rue the fact that they've sold him. Obviously they've got so many attacking options, Manchester City. It is no shame in not being able to get into their team, so he could certainly cause Manchester United problems. Riyad Mahrez could as well. He's gone off the boil sometimes over the last season or so, but was fantastic for that season when Leicester won the title. So they are the main threats for Leicester City, but I think Manchester United could get at Leicester's back four. It's not the greatest back four. Arsenal put 4 goals past them in the first game, so I would expect there to be some goals in this game, but I think it's going to be a bit tighter. I'm going to go for Manchester United nicking the game 2-1. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you think of the game. I think it is an international break coming up soon, so Manchester United have got to win before we get to that international break. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.